Hello and welcome back to Organized-ish. My name is Leela and I am currently on vacation. This is not my house, this is an Airbnb, and I thought it would be fun to give you a quick little tour around this house because it's a completely empty slate and I can show you how I would organize this if a client brought me in. So I'm gonna keep this super general. We're not gonna do anything specific for like a certain type of family or certain amount of kids or pets or anything like that. Just general organization tips if I were to walk in this house and a client said, "What would you do here?" I'm gonna tell you.
All right, we're going to start with the entryway just because I kind of want to give you a tour, like walking in, first-hand experience, what I would do. So coming around this very loud fan is the bottom of the stairs. Now that door goes out to the little garage where the golf cart is. And then this little tiny opening space has a lot of potential for some organizing options. So first of all, shoes. Most of the time if you live at the beach, you have a shoes off household. We have a shoes off household and we don't even live at the beach. So one thing I would do in here is definitely some kind of storage for shoes. So you can see we've just got a few pairs dropped here. Let me close that door so the fan's not so loud. So shoes down here, and then just like this little open space here that we have our beach bags. Up above is a shelf, which I think is nice. I like that it has the mirror. Hello. And that's helpful, but it's helpful for like a vacation rental. If this were someone's house, I would totally recommend using this full wall here for storage. So I'm thinking like really narrow shoe storage from the floor up and then shelves going up. You can still do a mirror, but shelves definitely going up in this area so you've got a lot more storage, and then like those IKEA shoe cabinets that are super narrow. They go up against the wall and then you just pull it out and it tips out. I'll link it in the description, but I think that would be perfect right here. And then on this side, there are 3 hooks, and I kind of feel like that's not enough. So I would do maybe hooks a little higher up here and then another set of hooks down lower. That way you can just add more to that space. And then you can even add pegs down here to hang up more shoes. So like if your shoes are really dirty or really muddy or something, you can do a peg on this wall that would stick out, and then you can just take the shoes and turn it up like that. Okay, let's go up the stairs. So there's a landing here, and I don't really think I would put any organizers in this area. I would just leave this open, mainly just for safety, but also just because you don't really need to store anything on the stairs. So now we have the dining space and the living space, and then around the corner is the kitchen. So we're gonna start right here. This is a good place to start. The first problem that I had here as far as staying organized was we needed a place to put our electronics and have them charge because there's 4 of us here right now, and so we've got phones and tablets and everything that needs to be charged, fans, everything. So what I had done was I plugged an extension, little splitter thing up there, and then we just had everything kind of scattered in this area. I feel like this is the best spot for that. So what I would do is I would add some kind of command center like counter option. That way all the electronics could stand vertically and they can all charge in that one place. I kind of feel like this would be the best area for that. Also, I kind of don't really think this hook should be here. It's pretty low. It could hold keys, I guess, which maybe that's the intended purpose, but I would actually bring that hook down here, and I would do maybe 2 of them, one here and one here, just to hold like a purse or more keys or a hat or something. I just feel like it would be better if it were lower instead of in that spot. Okay, let's come around into the kitchen, and let me find the light. There it is. Okay, so I like these little open shelves here. They're not really gonna hold much. I think they may be those Target ones. Yeah, they're not super sturdy, so I wouldn't put anything on those that you use a lot. Maybe just like coffee mugs like they have, or some decorations or something.
I wouldn't take those down and replace them with a cabinet though. I think that that's actually a nice little touch to have something open, but you can see here with all the other cabinets, you don't have like everything out on display. All right, so over here is the microwave and the stove. And let's see what's under. Baking pans. Yep, I would probably do the exact same thing. Baking pans there. And then I would put pots and pans here. Nope, appliances. Okay, yeah, I like that. I can deal with that. Makes sense. Got some cooking things here. And cooking things here. And knives here. So if this is going to be the coffee area, I would probably have, like, this would be maybe extra coffee storage, spoons, stuff like that. I don't think I would have these over here. I would probably move those here and move the knives back to this side. It doesn't really seem like you need knives right next to the stove. You really need those more in this area because it's kind of like a prep space. So I would probably swap these, and then if I really didn't have a lot of kitchen stuff, then I would put like pods inside the drawer instead of out on the counter. Now up here, makes sense that there would be coffee mugs, but there's not. There's plates over here. So I mean, I get it, but I would want coffee mugs next to the coffee maker. The mugs are actually over in this cabinet. Well, they were. We've used them all, but they actually go right there. And then the drinking glasses are way up high. So another thing that I would do in here, since these cabinets are so high, like look how high these ceilings are. It's very, very tall in here. But I would do, one, I would lower this because you can see here that this is adjustable. So I would lower it down one, and then I would do half glasses here and the other half glasses on the next shelf. And then on this side, maybe the mugs and then the mugs, or just move the mugs to the other cabinet over here, just so they're next to the coffee maker. But if I wanted all the cups in one area, I would do them vertically instead of one per shelf. And that way you can just reach everything and get to everything, because if you're short like me, you are not going to be able to get to these shelves without a stepladder. And the corner cabinet. Everyone asks me about corner cabinets and I hate them. There's really not a way to use all of a corner cabinet space. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, it's not possible. Everyone wants to know how to be able to use things way back there. You don't. You can't. Don't even worry about it. They've got just some serving plates here, and if you actually lived here in this house, in those sections, I would recommend doing some Lazy Susans or turntables or whatever you want to call them. I would do those here and put like oils and baking supplies. That way you can just spin it around and get what you need. You can actually reach another thing up here, or maybe one of those pull down spice racks would be cool for that second shelf. So those just sit on a shelf and then they have like a little lever type thing and you pull it down and then it comes down lower into this range. So I think that's what I would do. I do like oils and cooking things here and then spices on a pull down rack. And then that very top shelf would be for like entertaining things that I don't use very often. I think this cabinet is good. I can kind of get the gist of what it would be. It's like measuring things. This could be like mixing bowls, that kind of stuff. So like baking cabinet here next to the stove. I think that would work. Yeah, here they are. They're all down below. So I would move some of these up here just for ease. And then you can spread out some of the appliances or extra things in this area. And you could actually, you can take out that shelf. Those little shelves in the back are usually kind of useless because they're so hard to get to. And it looks like it's adjustable. So you could just take that out and add a riser that would go all the way through, or like a pull-out cabinet. That would work a whole lot better than just having that one little small shelf in the back. Okay, so here's the pots and pans. That's why they're not by the oven with the baking pans. This is a great place.
Totally would not move this. I would not even bother with trying to do like a specialty organizer in here. I don't think it's necessary. You can totally buy those for like standing up the lids in rows, but I really think that it's better just to keep the lids with the pots that they go with and just have them all in the drawer like this. It really just makes more sense and it's more functional. It's not like Pinterest perfect that way, but it's a whole lot easier to use. Around this side of the kitchen, the silverware is in this drawer, and I guess this place is fine for it. This would just kind of be like a random drawer. What is down here? Another just little random drawer cabinet thing. And then down here we've got Tupperware, which I never recommend keeping Tupperware in a lower cabinet unless you just absolutely have nowhere else to keep it, because it's just so hard to keep it neat and tidy. What I would probably do is one of these drawers would be for pots and pans, and then if there was overflow, I would keep that overflow in here, and then I would put all the Tupperware in one of these drawers, because it's just so much easier to keep them nice and organized when they're inside a drawer versus stacked up like this. Like you can see, it would just be really hard to manage this, especially if you were making kids lunches every day or making like your lunch for work. This isn't really the best method. And then over here is the pantry. We've got our snacks all lined up in here. And I actually like these wire shelves. Everybody hates on wire shelves, but I don't think they're that bad. As long as you put down like a flat cutting board or something for really small things that'll fall through. But this is a really great pantry for lining everything up, maybe adding some bins to keep things separated by category. But I wouldn't really do anything crazy in here. I would also probably leave that floor part empty, or if I really needed to use that floor space, I'd use like a bin that has wheels on the bottom. You can actually buy like a wooden crate that like looks cute that would go on a shelf, and then you can just attach casters onto the bottom. So if you did want to put something in the bottom of a pantry, make sure it's got some kind of wheels that you can like roll it out so you're not having to drag it across the floor all the time. That actually does make that bottom space a lot more functional. Moving on to the living room. The living space in here has this cabinet, which I think is really great for storing like electronics and board games. That's probably what I would use that for, along with like any extra stuff that didn't really have a home. Since this is kind of a small place, I think that this would be good just to kind of use maybe one of these cabinets, if I can even open it. How do you open this cabinet? I would use one of these cabinets as like a junk drawer kind of situation with different bins after I figure out how to close it. And then this side would be like board games and electronics and things like that. Also, in a small house, it's really, really helpful to use multifunctional furniture. So instead of this coffee table, I would probably recommend a coffee table that had a little more storage. Maybe something like an ottoman that has an inside that you can drop things in, or even just a coffee table with a couple of drawers. It would just really be helpful to add some extra storage to this space. Coming around this way, on this side, this wall is open, and there's enough space here that if you really needed an extra type of storage, you could do something really narrow right here, just like a really narrow console table with some extra shelves. But I actually really like that it's open and that nothing is here, because it allows more space to walk and it makes it feel a lot less cluttered. Off the kitchen on this side is the primary bedroom, and it has a king-size bed in here currently and a big dresser. And the room is pretty small, so I probably would not do a king-size bed in here if I lived here. For like a vacation rental, a king-size bed is great. But if I lived here, I would do a queen-size bed just so it feels a little less crowded. The dresser is good. It's nice and wide. You can store quite a bit in here, but actually the closet's really big. So technically you could do this for like extra storage that is not clothes and then just store all the clothes in the closet. I'll show you that in a minute, but that is an option for a bedroom. Don't feel like you have to have a dresser for clothes if your closet is big enough. You really don't. You can use this open space for storing anything. It does not have to be clothes. And since this room is so small, I would also do nightstands that have drawers as well instead of these. Of course, this is a rental. You don't really need all that storage space, but if I lived here, I would definitely want some extra storage in here just for like books and a tablet or anything like that. So I would, do one size smaller on a bed. I do a queen, and then nightstands with storage. So now we're gonna make our way into the bathroom, and the bathroom is actually maybe bigger than the bedroom, I think. It definitely is if you count the shower and the closet, but it's got this huge vanity here with 4 drawers and 2 cabinets. There's really a lot of storage that you can pack into something like this. You can do drawer dividers or like all the different little insert trays in here. They have the towels down below the cabinets, but I would actually probably try to roll them and get them in some of these drawers instead of having them stacked here. That way I could add extra little pull-out drawers and stuff to these cabinets and maybe a Lazy Susan, just so all of these things are more accessible without having to take up space with the towels. Also on the countertop, this is a really good spot to do like a tray to corral all of the little things that you like to keep out. Or you could do like a really pretty countertop organizer to store everything. That would look nice in that spot too, because you've really got a ton of space in between the middle. For a vanity that has a sink here and then the other sink is like right beside it, those little organizers in the middle don't make sense and they make it feel really cluttered. But with this one, you've got enough space in the middle that it's okay to do it. Okay, let me show you the shower. Oh, I love this shower. Okay. So huge! There's no way you can even tell how big this is by the camera, but it's huge. I'm pretty sure at least 6 people could fit in this shower. And for the fact that this shower is so big and so wide, there's literally just this tiny amount of storage here. This little alcove is pretty much useless. So what I would do in here, and sorry I'm echoing, what I would do in here is on this side, I would do like a little in-shower organizer kind of thing. I wouldn't get the ones that are like a little corner tower thing because the ceilings are way too high in here and those are kind of unreliable. But just a waterproof outdoor, very, very small, narrow shelving thing would be perfect in this corner. You could get like a really cute treated teak one or something, because it's not really going to get wet this far over. The water only hits to like the middle area. So this spot's not going to get wet, but it is going to get humid. But I think that would be a great place to put like a little small organizer shelf kind of thing, and you can put your foot up to shave. All that would be perfect in that spot. In the little bathroom area, I wouldn't do anything in here. It's got a couple of shelves that you can kind of deal with on this side, but I wouldn't, whoops, running into walls, wouldn't really do a whole lot in this space. You can run some shelves up if you needed to add extra storage, but you wouldn't really be keeping like towels or anything in here, so I can't really think of a whole lot that you would need to keep in this little room. Now around this corner is the closet, and I think this closet's laid out really well. I like how the shelving goes around the corner, but it's open on this side and they've got these little hooks. I would definitely trade out these hooks for bigger ones, and I would do 2 rows of it. So one up a little higher and then maybe one down in this area. But this whole section behind the door is usable space. Even the back of the door is usable space, so you can keep shoes or handbags or something there. Now, if I were organizing this for myself, I would use this area here and put a dresser in this spot, and I would just lose half of that long hang space. Maybe have long hang for this second half, but then in this corner would be like a tall dresser, just so it's kind of faced out this way, and then you've got dresser space and you're not taking up any space in the bedroom. That's what I would do, but also you could totally have this whole row for long hang if you have that much. On this side, I would likely do pants on top and shirts on the bottom, just because that top rack is pretty high up and it makes it a little harder to see your different kinds of shirts, especially if they have things like on the front, graphics or something on the front. So it's just going to make it a lot easier to see what you have when you're kind of looking down on it on this shelf versus having to look up at it. And pants are just pants, so they don't really, you don't have to see what's on the front of them, you know what they are. So they can go on that top shelf. All right, I'm gonna walk you back through here and show you the laundry closet. There's also a second bedroom that my son and his friend are staying in, and a second bathroom over here that's a little smaller. I'm not gonna go in those because that's their little space, but I will show you the laundry closet here. And this is actually a really good size. Can't find the light. They've got these, you know, stereotypical wire shelves, but I like these little bins here. Okay, never mind. No, I don't. They're kind of flimsy. I like the idea of having the little shelves there, but maybe some stronger, better ones that aren't gonna flop around. But I do like that. Washing machine, dryer, really enough space in the middle to add one of those super narrow little pull-out things to store extra supplies. And then more shelving on this side for more cleaning supplies. I think this room is pretty much as good as it can be without like tearing out everything and adding new, but I don't really think it's necessary either. I think these shelves are fine. I wouldn't do anything in here except add some bins.
And that's it. That's how I would organize this townhouse if I lived here or if I were working with a client who lived here. Now, of course, there would be a lot of different variables based on children or needs or whether they work from home or anything like that. But just general organizing ideas, I hope that some of those might apply to your house. If you saw a space in here that looks similar to yours and you're not sure what to do with it, hopefully that gave you something that you can at least experiment with and try out. And I really think that staying in a rental is kind of like a way to get some fresh eyes on your own house because you're staying in a different space. Things are set up differently. There's different cabinets. They have different things in different places, and it really encourages your mind to just forget about like the habits that you've been doing in your own house and see a different space the way it is. And then when you go home, you kind of have that refreshed feeling like, oh, well, in that house, they stored this here and it actually worked. Or in that house, it had a hook next to this cabinet and that was really helpful. I want to do that in my own. So next time you're staying in a rental or even a hotel or something, I want to challenge you to look around and just see how it's laid out and see if there's something that you can take home with you to maybe try in your own house. Don't do anything permanent. So like if you see in a house that a hook would be in a great place, hold up a hook or just like put the keys in that area and see if you like it there. But just being in a different space where everything is set up by someone else and it hasn't been a part of your routine allows you to just kind of open up your mind and see that there are some other ways that might actually work better for you, or they might not work for you at all. And that's good too, because it helps just as much to know what you don't like as it does to know what you do. For more home and life organizing ideas, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I have new videos coming out for travel organization, home organization, life organization, planners, all that. So if you need to get your life organized-ish, this is the place to be.